Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. We're taking a quick look here again at Solana, seeing what's going on, and just kind of helping understand the big picture. So just keep in mind, just because Elliott Wave here is anticipating a lower low doesn't mean this isn't the top, and it doesn't mean that that's going to 100% happen. So I just got the question recently, like, hey, what's the guarantee on this? Well, a statistical probability, it's higher than it is not. That's basically all there is to it. That's what we're going to look at here. A few key factors on the back end just to help understand, generally speaking, what's going on in the overall sense of things. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, hope you can learn something here today. If you do want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below. Thanks again for the wonderful feedback I'm receiving from a lot of my community members. Make sure you like the video before we get started here. Deeply appreciate that, just so we can kind of beat that YouTube algorithm. I've got a Crypto Cash cash trading, essentially, Twitter, Telegram, and Discord if you're interested. All that's down below. And very last thing to note, phenomenal exchange using Bitunix now. No KYC, no VPN required, and you get some significant bonuses for registering and funding your account. So be sure to utilize that. I'm partnering with exchanges that allow for US and Canadian members to not have to worry about the KYC. Okay, so again, that's the reason for that. So let's jump into the back-end data here. In fact, I'm going to change this around. I prefer a different color palette, just so we can kind of describe this a little more correctly. So something to kind of note here is liquidation levels. So we got liquidation levels here at about $37.40 for Solana. That's pretty far down there. Okay, so you got to recognize this is the last month worth of data. So just kind of give you big picture stuff here. Tons of folks are in profit at about 37. Okay, so congrats to you in getting in at that level. Last 7 days, though, of course, it's going to change the dynamic a little bit. Let's zoom in here and kind of see. So I get the question a lot, what does liquidation level means? Why is it relevant? Well, a lot of times it's relevant because in the big picture, whales will push the price action with a lot of small orders to get to a certain level. Okay, typically it's a liquidation level that has a large concentration of positions. Okay, so in this case, we got a lot of shorts at $64. So the price action continues to push up to that level. They're going to be able to liquidate that and close out a lot of positions, providing less resistance, so to speak, at that level. And then they instantly push the price action to the other direction, getting people to FOMO into the opposite. Okay, so again, what it is, it's kind of manipulation when you think about it, but it's just they use a lot of small limit orders or market orders, whatever, to essentially get to the price point of, in this case, the point of contention at $64. Once they clear out that level, there's no more resilience, and then they can do what they want with the price. Okay. Again, it keeps people like kind of shy of trading too when they get wrecked and get liquidated quickly. So all the more reason to use low leverage, low position size. But what I'm getting at here, $64 as a round number, is a strong amount of accumulation there for shorts, and then longs are on the opposite here, just below the most recent low at about $54. Again, I'm rounding up a little bit there, but 54, 64, those are the two ranges. So to kind of note that here, so you can kind of see it on the charts, 64 is this guy right here, and 54 is this guy right here. Okay, so again, if we zoom in here, you can see there is a lower amount of liquidity here, and there is also an upper amount of liquidity here. Okay, so both areas are interested targets for the market movers. Okay, so it's important to recognize that because that does factor in, in how you should be trading, because you want to be careful. When a liquidation level is just about to get hit, you may want to just let it get hit first and then take your trade instead of trying to, FOMO in at the last minute. Okay, so on the daily time frame, just to quickly note, not much has changed here. We're not diverging yet, so don't don't expect a significant drop. Once more, if the price does pull back, these lower liquidity levels would make sense. Anything under $52 to me seems egregious. I don't think we're going to see the price action go much lower than that unless Bitcoin drops to 33,000 or lower. Make sure you watch my Bitcoin videos so you can stay abreast on that, because that is the big dog. That one controls the market. But for the most part, Solana's been doing fairly well outside of that. We can also talk about this here too, and I discussed this yesterday in the sense that with this, what we see here, we got the double doji candle from yesterday and the day before, basically implying that the price action had indecision just after it dipped down really hard with this red candle. So whatever direction the price is coming, say the price is going up here and you got two doji candles, the price is more likely to come back around due to the fact that it's reversing itself and is unable to pass that threshold. Okay, so in this case, it couldn't pass this threshold here, about $58. We couldn't get a candlestick closure below that. That provides us with a lot more support, and the price action is much more likely to increase from here because of that. Okay, so again, just some little things to kind of think about. This is not a definitive direction situation, but it is telling us that $58 is a strong support, equally as much as $61 is a strong resistance. Okay, so we're kind of wedged within those two ranges there. So just keep in mind, we got somewhat of a channel that we're in right now, and we might actually be range bound for a little bit due to the fact that we don't have a definitive direction here either with the RSI and money flow index. What this is basically telling us here is that the RSI is coming up over 50, which is positive. The money flow index is increasing, also equally as positive. And once more, we got a MACD convergence here too. So we've got 3 out of 3 indications here on the 4-hour time frame that's really looking pretty good in the overall sense of things. Okay, that combined with the double doji on the daily candle, those are patterns and things you want to kind of look for. Okay, so while I was talking about yesterday, a good shorting opportunity would be right here at about 61.15. That may also be a good consideration for taking a long. And what I mean by that is the fact that yes, it's rejected initially here. We can see that, but we are establishing on the smaller time frames higher lows and higher highs. So in order to reverse a trend, for example, this downtrend here, you need to go range bound first, which we did, and then you need to break that range with higher highs. Again, we can see this easier on the 1-hour time frame. Let me go ahead and describe that, what I mean. So again, you got the price action coming down. We go range bound here within this range of 55 to roughly 58. And then of course, in order to break that range, you got to be able to establish a higher high and higher low. There's a higher high, it's higher than the most recent, and here's our higher low. Okay? Higher high, higher low. So we've broken this trend. So now instead of being descending trend and range bound, those are the two potential scenarios, there's also an ascending trend here too. Okay, so make sure you watch my videos if you're currently a premium member, because on my private trading videos, those are available on the website once more. I talk about these reversals here and how to identify those trends. Okay, so in this case, we've broken free from the range bound activity. We're ascending positively, and it does imply here that $59.50 should and very well likely could be our next leg up. Okay, again, we're working perfectly within these Fibonacci levels: rejection, support, rejection, support. Hypothetically, the next target would be 62.77. Okay. Again, there's no guarantees it's going to continue higher, but we've identified on multiple time frames there's a lot more contributing factors for the price action going up than it would to go down. Last but not least, we want to kind of identify here just liquidity. I think I talked about that already. Just again, this lower, $54, we got some liquidity there, and upper range of 68. Both areas have potential to be swept. We've got a most recent fair value gap here at about 58 to 59 as a rough estimate. And we take a look at the moving averages. It's extremely beneficial here. We're up over the 20-day SMA, and we're over the 50 with the 100 trailing behind with this a large term ascending trend. So again, there's literally nothing here I can see for Solana that looks disadvantageous. The only thing I would preface is the fact that Bitcoin is it still kind of looks like it wants to pull back to those lower levels. And if it does, you got to know that Solana will probably correct itself too. Okay. Now, keep in mind, in the recent history here, Solana has done very well with maintaining a good price point. In other words, if we take a look here at, just say Bitcoin, for example, you can see a similar pattern, right? Over, down, temperature check, and the price comes back up. We take a look at Solana, it's doing something similar. It's just not quite as responsive. In other words, a lot of other coins will wick up and wick down aggressively when Bitcoin has these kind of shenanigans, whereas Solana hasn't done that. Okay. That leads me to believe that we have much more longevity and better potential for further upside, or downside, honestly, depending on how Bitcoin swings. But for the most part, it's not responding negatively or adversely when Bitcoin dumps, okay? And that's a very positive thing. So to me, I think Solana's looking pretty darn good to go here. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to consider a long position at this point. I'm leaning more towards that myself. And ultimately, a lot of this does hinge on Bitcoin's success or what Bitcoin's planning to do. But at this point here, Solana is definitely looking good. Yesterday, we were talking about potential options for shorting. In other words, the consideration for taking a short at 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618 was fairly high at the time. Now, we've seen a lot more momentum, a lot more continuation, and just overall sustainability in the last 12 hours that Solana has essentially changed and shifted gears because we've invalidated some of those short targets, okay? So I would hesitate to take a short right now, consider the possibility of a long. Again, the best trade is no trade, if you ask me, because again, when we don't have definitive information, it's best not to take a trade. Let's go ahead and confirm one last thing. This is my confirmational indicator, and let's just go ahead and see where we're at here. We have officially broken above the cloud. This is a very positive sign. Conversion lines above the baseline, lagging span is free and clear. So as long as we do not go any lower than 59.50, we should be in good shape to see the price continue higher for Solana. So all in all, this has a fairly green light here to consider a long position. So again, utilize small leverage, small position sizing. I highly recommend that. Do not overtrade. Majority of our profits that we take, again, trades like this, for example, there's 5x to 10x leverage trades. So nothing super significant, nothing super crazy, and we're taking consistent profits, whether or not it's 2 days or 2 months. Okay, all well and good. All right, folks. Thanks again for watching. I hope you learned something here today. Again, cryptocash.tech is the site if you want more information on my premium group. We do have limited slots available there. Welcome to a lot of the new members that are coming over. Great to be working with you there. Thanks again for the wonderful feedback too. Happy to hear it's working well for you. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the new video here a little bit later today, likely. Thanks again. Take care.